unmanned spacecraft and we now have actual reaction wheels, which is great. And we have solar panels, which is even, and lights, which is even better. Okay, let's just take a look here at what we got contract. Science data from space around Kerbin. We want you to send us science data. So this is just for money and reputation if you need it. Explore the Mun. Has multiple objectives. Achieve orbit around the Mun. Transmit or recover scientific data from space around the Mun. Land on the Mun. Transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of the Mun. That is a pretty big one. It expires never, so we will be able to do that. We'll be able to do that whenever we want. There's a bunch of other ones here that give us some points. Mostly give money. Test the basic jet engine landed at Kerbin for 27 science. Well, that is something we surely can do. So let's go ahead and we'll taste the basic jet engine landed here at Kerbin. We'll accept the contract. It expires in 1 day. Is that what it said? 1 year it says. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll just do that real fast. The basic jet engine, of course, well, we've got this big runway. We haven't used it yet. But if we're testing experimental parts, we should use the landing pad there. So we're going to go ahead and go new. We're going to go ahead and use our Stay Putnik. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put a battery pack on it. And we're going to put some solar panels there on the top so that it will stay nice and charged. And we're going to put on here the standard air breathing engine. Let's put a little bit of fuel and we'll put the engine. We don't have any air intake, so it has no way of getting the air it's going to need to fire, but that's okay. And we'll just hold it up in the air like that, and then we will fire the engine off. Alright, so we'll call this testing basic jet engine plus probe systems. So that's the name of this rocket here. I mean, it's not really meant to fly or anything. So we'll see. Got test basic jet engine contract. We'll hit I did a weird accent there for no particular reason. That's okay. Alright, we're landed at Kerbin. I'll hit the button. We tested it. It didn't do anything, but we tested it, and we can recover the vessel. We are still here at the Space Center, so we should get lots of funds back. We didn't do any science. It didn't have any crew, so that's fine, and we got 27 science now. Hooray! Okay. Clicked on the wrong button. Clicked on the wrong building, I should say. Let's take a look here at what we got for contracts. Test Separatron in flight over Kerbin for 6 science. 1 science for data. 4 science. We know that's 6. This gives us none. That gives us 8. That gives us 17. That gives us 17. What do we got active still? 27 and 41. Yeah, these are the ones we're going to go for now. So we need to set up our small gear bay in flight over Kerbin, and we need to go for the Rockomax brand decoupler orbiting Kerbin. So I'm going to adjust our orbiter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load in the SCAP orbiter 2. Contains locked or invalid parts. I believe it's this that they're referring to, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to replace all of these to actually attach to the capsule. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be the Orbiter 3. So we're going to go ahead and save this. Alright, I believe those were that was the experimental part we had, was that engine. Yes, everything else looks hunky-dory. So we now have got this radial mounted engine, which is actually pretty cool for landers and the like. We still have this decoupler that we need to test. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there like so. And we need to test that in orbit, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, while in orbit. And we need to test the small gear bay. So I'm gonna remove that science bit. We don't need it. We'll still take we'll still take the materials bay up with us. But I'm going to strap on here my 2 pieces of landing gear, like so. And I'm going to call that okay. Do I need? You know what? Just for fun, I'm gonna kind of go in here. Projects a strong beam, increasing the brightness. It's a big flashlight. It's a extra wide beam, low power for lighting up large swaths. So I believe this is the one I want for a landing light. So I'm gonna go ahead and just attach those in like that. Just kind of in the mix there, pointed outwards, in case we happen to land on the night side. I want to be able to have a little bit of light to see what we're doing. So we're going to save this. This is going to be our orbiter Mark III. We're going to try and test these landing gear. We're going to test this decoupler because we know this will make it to orbit. And since Milzer has already gone to orbit once, I believe it is Jebediah. No, let's do Bob. It's Bob's turn to go up. Bob is the smart one. He needs to be able to do some science. So we're going to go ahead and accept this, and we're going to run this launch, and it's going to go great, and we're going to get everything all tested and well done, and etc. I should have put a reaction wheel on this, actually. Now that I have the reaction wheel, we can test our lights. The lights work. That's great. Okay, so we need to test the small gear bay. I probably could have put small gear bay like on these outer stacks. We got rid of them. At 1,500 meters. Alright, so let's go 3, 2, 1, launch. Alright, we're going to let the solid fuel boosters work to get us going, of course. And then we will engage our main engines once we've gotten close to 1,000 meters, I would say, up. We wanna actually get going here, and engaging the main engines. All right, so we are over Kerbal. We are flying. We're getting our speed up as we're going. Okay, we are listing heavily to one side, which is not good. I am trying to counter it as much as I can, but it is not working. Alright. Dropping the solid fuel boosters, and control has been regained. Oh. It's looking like we're going for polar orbit this time. That's okay. Our speed is dropping. I'm trying to get us to go vertical once more. That's roughly vertical. Okay, we're halfway to the altitude limit, and we've just passed into the speed range, so we have plenty of time to get up to that altitude limit and hit the button on the testing of the gear. Alright. We're heading up. I need to make sure our speed doesn't get too high. If we hit 400 meters per second and we're not at 1,500 meters, I will decelerate just a bit, because we really need to test this. Alright, we're getting there. 14. 15. Okay, we've hit it. Run test. We've done it. We've tested our gear bay. Hooray. Alright. I should put the gear up now. Get it out of the way. It's just going to be kind of strapped there to the sides of our thing as we're going. And now we need to head for orbit, right? Yep, we're headed for orbit with a low, or with the high 70s. So we'll head for orbit. We'll do a polar orbit, because why not? We're burning south now. How are we doing here on our periapsis? Alright, we'll go ahead and... We've switched over to orbital view now. We'll go ahead and burn on a southward trajectory. Close the map, please. Thank you. So we just need to... Oh, geez. Okay, well, I wasn't paying any attention. It's my bad. It's my bad. I take full responsibility for that. Alright, let's flip ourselves over. Point downward and burn. We're just heading for orbit here. Not trying to do anything super fancy with it. So according to the music, we've made it out into space. We have. We just need to have a full orbit so that we can run our science. And by doing the polar orbit, of course, we're going to have to wait for the Space Center to do a half rotation. So we need to wait half a Kerbal day up here. I think that means I've run out of fuel. It has, so we will detach and fire the single engine. Alright. So I can go ahead and point this downward somewhat, because this really doesn't need to come out anymore. We just need to get it across. So that we're in actual orbit. Alright, let's wait. Let's come across here like this and do more burning. Alright, we just need to get this up above 70. That's all we need to do. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. 60, 70. Okay, what was the range of their thing? Alright, our range, we've gotten too high. This needs to be a bit lower. Alright, we'll just flip over here very gently, gracefully. Do a teeny tiny bit of burning. And let's just drop this down to a safe 76. So there we go. We're in a somewhat polar orbit now, swinging around the bottom of the planet. There we can see the Kerbal version of Antarctica in all its glory. And we're going to be swinging back up towards the North Pole. Alright, and we're in the altitude range now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. Boosh! We thrust it off towards the planet, firing it off like a torpedo. 41 science for that. That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. And so let's drift up over the North Pole here. North Pole's up here. You can see it's a nice little icy cap area. And we'll run our materials bay. We're still in space near Kerbal. Alright, so we'll reset the experiment. We'll try it when we're at our farthest out point instead. Because we're at apoapsis of 150, which is pretty dang high for an orbit. So let's go ahead and try our materials bay once again. Nope, still says space near Kerbal. Alright. So Bob, do you have a crew report for us? Nope. Alright. Let's just go EVA. You're clinging to the side here. EVA report from space just above Kerbal water, so that's good. You can get back in. So now all we need to wait for is for Kerbal to fall back underneath where we need it to be. and that's going to take a little bit. So I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to let Kerbal rotate under us, and then I will bring you guys back in once I have positioned ourselves for a landing. Alright everyone, welcome back. You can see here the flag is about to move underneath our blue orbit line, and as we know, the flag is very, very close to the Space Center, so I believe this is going to be our opportunity. I'm going to attempt to lower ourselves down so that we put our apoapsis in the atmosphere, kind of just north of the Space Center. So I'm going to dip just below the horizon here, and then I'm going to fire engines, and I want to put this down to, I think, let's go 19 should do it. And so as we zip across, we can make adjustments as we see fit. So let's go ahead and we'll time warp. We'll time warp our way across the skies. You can see the flag is passing underneath, so we're going to be basically coming in right on top of it, it looks like. Assuming we don't hit the atmosphere too much as we're zipping in. So I'm going to go ahead and physical time warp. We got a lot of horizontal speed. So we got that going for us. We're just barely touching the upper atmosphere now. We still can't see landfall. That's okay. We're still moving. We are slowing down. So you can see this line is changing, and it's looking like my plan is working, in that we are skimming through the atmosphere in such a way that we are gonna make landfall close. The key aspect is close. The Space Center is like right there, so there's those island chains. Okay, so we have, how much fuel do we have? We have plenty of fuel. We have more than a tank of fuel. So what I'm going to be doing is flying us back to the Space Center as much as I can. Go ahead and use the power of the rocket gimbal. To flip us over and blast us in the proper direction. Okay, we don't necessarily want to be flying upwards, we want to be flying overwards. I'm trying to point us as down as possible. We want to fly, basically we want to fly like a plane without wings. So we don't want to be going up if we can help it. We want to keep our altitude. Our altitude is good, and I believe we need to go more this way. Oh my gosh, we're spiraling. Why are we spiraling? Oh, because since we're falling, quote unquote, through the atmosphere, it's trying to point us tailwards. Alright, so the best thing to do would be, of course, to just point us straight up. And then head for the north. You can spin around so that north becomes down. I don't know why I pushed RCS, but I did. Alright. So we have basically halted our speed, and we're now under powered flight. We're already out of fuel? What? Okay, well, fine then. I'll just deploy parachutes. We wasted a lot of fuel then. We're like 100 kilometers away from the space center, it looks like. That's not too bad. I mean, we're off the coast of whatever country here we represent. So I will just physical time warp us down and let us splash down into the ocean, I guess. I could have sworn I was going to have a lot more fuel than what I had. Alright, parachutes have successfully deployed. Oh, it's going to be a nice, safe water landing. Look at that. Barely any surface speed. Bob's excited. I'm excited. Can we take a crew report? We can't. We can do a crew report flying over the waters. That's great. A little extra science boost there. And we splash down. Oh! And we exploded because I was in time warp. Okay, so we're going to recover the main vessel first, and then we'll go back for Bob. Alright. The SAP orbiter, we can recover him. We gathered up our science points, we gathered up some parts, and we gathered up some crew. Alright, let's take a look now at what we can get with our science points. We have over 100 now. So we could go for the gear bay and the micro landing strut for 90. We can go for the mobile processing lab, the ladder, the solid ladder, not the extending ladder, and the thermometer, which generates science. We can go for advanced flight controls, which contains another probe body, contains RCS for the first time, advanced stability. We can go for aerodynamics, which includes some wing components in the basic jet engine. We have advanced construction, which has some fuel tanks, and we have some large fuel tanks actually, and the large adapters. There's the fuel systems, which has fuel lines, and heavy rocketry, which just has some rocket components in them. I think I want to go for advanced flight control and get some RCS going. I think that will be good for me, because I like using RCS in my moon landings. And that is really our next goal, is to hit the moon landings. We get some advanced, there's the advanced solars, and there's the precision engineering, which has the probe size parts. But I'm going to go for advanced flight controls. There we go. There's some of the bigger engines and things in there. That's good, but we've basically used up all of our science. And if we check our active contracts list, it is empty. So we have done some good work here, people. I'm going to cut this recording session here, and I will see you guys next time.